folks. Today's video is one that I meant to do last month, but I actually just totally forgot to do it. Today we're going to be doing my makeup archives, and this is actually going to be the last of the recent years of makeup archives. I will start doing them like even further back, like 2000 in the 90s, kind of doing that stuff. But this is going to be the last of the most recent years because we have reached 2020. And I went through Temptalia's archives and looked at the releases that came out in 2020, and it is kind of interesting like how many things came out in 2020. Like a lot of things came out in that cursed year. I'm not sure why. We're going to talk about some brand new brands that came out that year, some products. We're not going to be able to get to everything, obviously, and if there's anything I missed, please forgive me, because I literally cannot even keep track of everything. Also, there was a lot of other things happening in 2020 that I was kind of blocking out a lot of makeup releases out of my brain, which is why when I was looking at these archives, I was like, wait, that happened? That came out that year? What? Let's jump right into it, shall we? Okay. There were a couple of brand new makeup brands that came out in 2020, first of which being the Makeup by Mario collection. And I remember when this brand first launched, it was kind of lackluster. Personally, I was like uninterested in it, and honestly I don't know of a lot of releases that they've come out with since then. Granted, there's been a lot that's happened. It's been a year and a half. It's fucking pandemic, and like I fault no brands for like slowing down releases over the last year. It's probably a good thing, to be honest. There just isn't a lot that I remember from it. It wasn't a very memorable brand launch. Like it really wasn't that special from what I remember. I'm looking at these palettes. There were some neutral palettes, some like creamy things, some toppers, some like concealer pot palettes. Nothing that really stuck out. I heard the quality was good and it was definitely marketed more towards like professional makeup artists, but I don't know if it met the mark there. I don't know if it really kind of hit that mark the way they wanted to. What else has they come out with since then? Was there a lot? I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know. But I wasn't like mad about it. I was just kind of meh about it, you know? Some releases you're not like angry about and you're not like frustrated about. You're just kind of apathetic about, and this was one of them. I was very apathetic by the Makeup by Mario brand release. Next brand. This one actually came out to a very positive response, and that was Rare Beauty. And Rare Beauty came out, I believe, closer to the end of the year, and Rare, this was actually kind of controversial at the time, there was confusion about if it was designed for people with mobility issues, and there was this back and forth online about like, was it actually true? Who started that rumor? Where did that come from? And literally all it stemmed from was like a single tweet, and a bunch of like websites and articles started sharing that same tweet. When people asked the brand, they refuted that, which is fucking wild. Verbiage from the website, which was like, we're here for inclusivity, and like for it was other like language that if you really looked into it could be misinterpreted to say that it was like made for people who have limited mobility, which like they literally responded to that statement and said, that's a nice thing to think, but we didn't do that. That wasn't like a conscious thing on our part. So that was interesting. I definitely remember that being like super controversial. People were attacking people about that. It was actually very annoying when people said that it was made for people with mobility issues, and then when people said no, it wasn't, people were fighting with each other in the comments of things, and on fucking Reddit, it was a nightmare. Consuming any discourse about Rare Beauty at the time, it was fucking stupid. However, the makeup has done really well, and they've actually come out with some decent products. I don't have any of them, but I've been tempted by several of them, and everything's really pretty. When they first teased it, I was kind of underwhelmed by the idea of a Selena Gomez fronted brand, but I feel like they've done a good enough job at kind of separating it as not being like a Selena Gomez brand, as just being like a standalone brand. I think they've gone the direction of Fenty in that they're not necessarily tying so much of the marketing and the branding to Selena Gomez, which I think is a good thing. It makes it so that people who don't really care about Selena Gomez as a celebrity actually want to buy the makeup more, I think, personally. Yeah, that brand launch was definitely controversial, and the discourse about it was dumb as hell. It was a perfect example of like one person saying something and then a million people picking it up and then it just becoming fact. But everything else since then they've come out with looks actually really pretty. So like, you know, they've done well for themselves. It doesn't hurt that they like immediately got a place inside Sephora. So they had a leg up on that. And then another brand that came out with that had an immediate leg up inside Sephora, but I don't think has fared as well, is One Size Beauty, which is Patrick Starr's brand. And I think that's for several reasons. One, the first products they came out with were makeup removers, and then like a lackluster makeup palette. And also at the time, I haven't really been keeping up with Patrick Starr at all as an influencer, truth be told. But at the time, he was one of the people who were kind of ignoring safety precautions and just like posting on social media, just like out partying with people like Nikita Dragun and being like, fuck all you bitches if you don't like Nikita Dragun, like she's the best, and just like being really flippant and being really irresponsible. And I think that hurt the brand, definitely. Yeah, I just have not been interested in anything from One Size Beauty at all. Like literally none. And the packaging isn't my cup of tea either, but that's like a specific me thing. Like it's not bad packaging, it's just not my favorite. I'm not a fan of red as a color personally, but yeah, it just hasn't done very well. There was like a powder, and then they've put out some other face products, but the fact that it was makeup remover to begin with, makeup remover spray, and then makeup remover wipes, which was like, why? Every skincare person on the internet has been kind of coming to terms with the fact that makeup wipes are not good for you to use as an everyday thing, and not good for the environment. So like, why are you launching your brand with makeup wipes? I don't know.
Next,
Fenty Skin was launched in summer of 2020, and this was an interesting release. It came out with 3 products. It was a cleanser, a fat water, and then a moisturizer. Fat water is a weird word. I remember when they were first marketing it, and I remember anti-hauling this because the way that they were marketing it is something that peeves me off with any sort of skincare brand that does this, when they talk about like, oh, it's suitable for all skin types. Literally, no, it's not. No, it's not. Nothing is suitable for all skin types except air and water. There is no skincare product out there that is suitable for all skin types. Everybody's skin is different. I'm not even a fan of like skin type as a category anyway, because I think it puts people in these unnecessary boxes of being like, oh, I have oily skin, so I have to use oil-free things. You shouldn't use completely oil-free things on your skin if you have oily skin, because then you will dry your skin out and your skin will overproduce oil. Anyway, that was just a small little annoyance. I'm like, don't say it's for everybody, because it's not. So it was a small launch, but it was a modest launch. I have seen them come out with more things. I was really interested in the under eye pads. Those would be kind of fun, but I haven't bought anything from Fenty Skin. I'd be interested in buying from it at some point, but I just haven't as of yet. But they've consistently come out with stuff since then, for the most part. Next, Huda Beauty came out with the Naughty and Nude eyeshadow palette for holiday of 2020. And this was the first time I remember them putting in that weird kind of eyeshadow that looks like some sort of boil, and it's just ugly. I redesigned it in a video if you want to look at it. I changed things up in one of my palette redesigns. Otherwise, this palette was fine. I just remember those shades where they're kind of made to look pretty in the palette, but as soon as you start like putting them on your eye, they just swirl together and don't look anything like what's in the palette. Those kind of annoy me because it's a little bit of a catfish. It's not gonna look like this on my eye. Like, stop trying to make it look prettier than what it's gonna look on my eye. Otherwise, this palette was not bad. It was just those weird shades I was not a fan of.
Next.
Pat McGrath's Celestial Divinity Mega Mothership palette was part of their giant Celestial... Was it just the Celestial collection that came out end of 2020? And I remember I was very tempted by this. I was, because the price point was better for the number of shades you got. But I heard that the quality wasn't actually as good, and the quality of like the highlighter specifically was awful. The highlighter was again a bit of a catfish, and I heard that it was just very underwhelming, very not what you expect from Pat McGrath. And while this palette was pretty, I couldn't justify it still. A lot of shimmers. Not nearly enough mattes. But the thing is, I know that Pat McGrath is really well known for having like super stellar shimmers, and the mattes being like fine. So I don't know if Pat McGrath palettes are really ever gonna be for me, because I do like having like a fair amount of matte options. And if I'm gonna buy like super special shimmers, I'm gonna buy singles. ColourPop and Hocus Pocus. This was their first Hocus Pocus collection, which was, dare I say, better than the second one. I will say I enjoyed the aesthetics of this first one better. I still didn't like it. I still didn't find it very true to the film, and I maybe have seen Hocus Pocus more in my life than any other movie, maybe The Goonies or Christmas Vacation. This collection was like, it was fine. I didn't like it, and I didn't like the artwork. I've consistently not liked the artwork that they've used for like Disney and other like kind of nostalgic intellectual properties, except the Lizzie McGuire one. And then like the Hello Kitty artwork ones were kind of cute, where there's like very easy artwork for you to use. Sailor Moon, Hello Kitty, all that stuff. Very easy to use. But as far as Disney characters that they've done versions of, and then Hocus Pocus, I hate the artwork so much. More ColourPop. This was another controversial collection, and this was the Sandstone collection. And while the color story is actually very pretty, and the colors kind of match the idea of like sandstone, desert, like very rock formation, that kind of stuff, they used a lot of names and designs that were basically stealing from indigenous culture, and they got called out for it too. It would have been so much easier for them just to do it based on like the geological rock formations. Like, that's so fucking easy. Like, you have the artwork, colors, names, just use science words. I don't know. They decided to make a choice that they shouldn't have made. Urban Decay's Holiday 2020 collection was the Stone Vibes, and this one, at the time, I was not into it, but honestly, it's kind of cute. Like, this is kind of cute. Would I buy it now? I don't know, but it's definitely more appealing to my face now than it was before. I definitely remember looking at it and being like, okay. It's better than the other stuff that Urban Decay's come out with this year so far. Like that Eternals thing, like Marvel Eternals palette was bad. Bad. And that was their holiday collection for this year. Ugh. Yeah, the holiday collection last year at Urban Decay was much better. Melt came out with a handful of things in 2020. They came out with the Modern Love collection, which had the Millennial Pink palette, as well as some liners and lip glosses. And I actually bought one of the lip glosses. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in my house, but I bought the lip gloss called Johnny Rose, and it has like really big chunks of glitter in it. I don't mind because I think it looks cute, but I was tempted by that palette for sure because it was very pretty. But I realized looking at it and I was like, I have all those pinks already. I don't need these 3 grays. I'm fine. Don't need it. Also, it's like a light pink Pepto-Bismol color. I'm gonna get it gross. It's gonna look terrible. But that was the first of Melt's releases that year. They also did the She's in Parties palette version. They had previously been selling the She's in Parties stack. I'm glad that they've moved away from the stacks because they've done the She's in Parties palette and then the Rust palette, which I think was also a stack at one point. But yeah, the She's in Parties one was actually very cute. It's similar to the Natasha Denona retro palette now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, they did She's in Parties and Rust and the Millennial Pink palette. And they did the 420 collection for 420, and I bought it. It was fine. It wasn't nearly as good as Gemini. It was better than Smoke Sessions. So we have one Too Faced collection that I am going to speak of, the Pumpkin Spice palette, which I feel like is very late for Too Faced. I feel like they would have come out with a Pumpkin Spice palette like far before this. I was surprised that they didn't have one before this, but I know they had like the Gingerbread Spice and like the Gingerbread Spice 2. So then they finally did the Pumpkin Spice, and it didn't look like a Pumpkin Spice palette. It looked like any other kind of holiday things. It looked like the gingerbread one. Like, there was a purple in it, and there's a green in it, like, and a pink, like, I don't know. Was it supposed to smell? It was supposed to smell like pumpkin spice, too. Too Faced. Just stop with the smells. But I think they kept selling this, and they brought it back, or did a second one? Did they do a second one? I really don't know anymore. All of these, like, blur together. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, we have more ColourPop. Probably one of the more... God, ColourPop was just full of controversy in 2020. They had the Candyland collection, which from what I have heard from so many people, including my dear friend Hannah, it's awful. It's so bad. I never tried it. I never bought it. I never intended on buying it. It was cute, but I didn't really want to buy it. And I'm glad that I didn't because all the reviews that it got were very bad. So I am not mad that I missed out at all. Oh my God. Oh my god, this one. Oh, now that I look at this might have been the first omen that Becca was on its way out. Becca came out with the silliest product I have seen in a long time. In 2020, it was the Becca Zero, like Coke Zero, no pigment foundation. This was summer of 2020. And Becca, what were you thinking? Honestly. It was like it was a primer. It was a primer. It wasn't a no pigment foundation. You don't have a foundation without any pigment. That's a primer. It's not a foundation. It's a primer. And everybody who talked about this, either they tried it or they didn't, and they were like, "This is just a fucking primer. What are you doing? What is with this weird, confusing marketing language? It's not a foundation. It's a fucking primer. Like, what the hell?" And I know that it got more people talking about it. Like, I absolutely know it got more people talking about it because people kept talking about the fact that it was such a silly name for a product. I don't know how well it did, but it was dorky as hell. MAC actually did a couple collections with musicians that year. They did a Viva Glam lipstick with Rosalia, and I didn't even realize that happened. But again, I don't really pay attention to MAC releases anymore, and I'm not like checking Temptalia as much as I used to. I used to look at Temptalia all the time. Like, honestly, I used to read Temptalia so much. They did a Viva Glam, I believe it was the 26th Viva Glam they've done, which is mind-boggling. Like, I have Viva Glam 1. What? Wow, there are 26 Viva Glams? Holy shit. I will say I only know Rosalia from her feature on Adore You from Harry Styles, but from what I've heard, she is good, but I don't really know her music otherwise. And then I also don't know Tiana Taylor's music, but Tiana Taylor did an entire collection with MAC in 2020, and this is actually very up my alley. Like, the lipstick, the mineralized skin finish, the branding of everything, it was neon colors, it was very like Y2K. This is the kind of like neon translucent acrylic looking packaging that I love. Like, this is so early Y2K. I'm kind of obsessed with the packaging, actually. It's great. I love the packaging. Oh my god, this would have, I mean, I don't buy from MAC anymore, but like this, I want to be a new thing. I want brands to do more of this type of packaging, please. It's so cute. This was another Pat McGrath palette that I was very tempted by, but the more I looked at it, the more I realized I had all the shades in here except one, which was that like crazy awesome shimmer transforming shade. And this was the Divine Rose 2 Mothership 8. God, Mothership 8 palette. I really liked it because of A, the colors inside, and B, the outside was just fucking gorgeous. Like, one thing I will say, and I realize I totally missed this in my video where I was talking about makeup brands whose marketing and packaging I love. Pat McGrath is another one that I just love. I'm not as big of a fan of the online marketing because a lot of it is very airbrushed and very photoshopped, but as far as like makeup packaging and the branding and the website, all of it, so cool, so new, and just like badass. I love it. I do. And this was no different. I love the packaging on this palette. It was gorgeous. But besides that Transformer shade, I have all of these, so I had no need for it. Oh, Urban Decay. This was the second to last Naked palette, I think. This is the Ultraviolet Naked Ultraviolet. This was when they started going off the rails and really being like, oh, everything's naked now. No, it's not. What are you talking about? No, it's not. They had the Naked Cherry, which was like pushing it, and then the Naked Ultraviolet, and then the Naked Cyber. Literally, cyber is like, that's technology. It's not fucking naked. Like, don't call it that. And with this one, I was also like, don't call it that. Like, I don't know. The packaging was, again, very pretty, but they haven't changed much as far as like the logo or the design about any of the Naked palettes. And I heard that this wasn't an awful palette, but it was very much like, I am not going to wear these shades of purple. I mean, people still bought it for sure, but they weren't as excited about it as the earlier Naked releases. Oh, Norvina. And this was the Norvina Pro Pigment Palette Volume 4 that came out in May of 2020. And this was a very long time between the Norvinas 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3 came out almost like simultaneously, like over the course of like a month. but 4 took like so many months later. And I remember looking at this when it came out and I was like, this is literally just the Norvina palette and the Jackie Aina palette put together, which I have both of them. And I hadn't been buying from Anastasia for a while at that point, so I had really no interest in buying this anyway. But the only thing that made this palette even remotely special was the like kind of acid green, which I think when I saw the swatches, it was more of a yellow. So it wasn't even that cool special acid green. This palette, I redesigned it as well. I redesigned it. I think I deleted a bunch of shades and like made it small. Yeah, what did I do? I'll link it here. I redesigned it in the video. Ooh, more Fenty. Okay, we are reaching the end of the line here. Fenty came out with the much awaited and much anticipated cream products in the summer of 2020. And they did the cream bronzers and then the cream cheek blushes. And the bronzers were a normal size pan. And I don't have any of the cream bronzers. I have a powder bronzer, which I actually really like. And I remember people being very confused of why the blushes were so small. But then when they got them, they're like, oh, this is pigmented as fuck. Which honestly is not my favorite kind of cream. I mean, I don't really like cream blushes or bronzers anyway, personally. But I much prefer to have either a really liquidy blush that is very pigmented that I can blend out, or a cream blush that is more sheer, because I feel like a cream blush, when it's so pigmented, it's so easy to overdo it and it doesn't blend out as easily as like a liquid blush does. So I was not really interested in any of these, even though the colors were really cool. It just didn't feel like something that I would use or get much use out of, because I don't like cream products and I don't like super pigmented cream blushes as well. They were well received for sure. People liked them, and the cream bronzers actually looked pretty dope, like pretty dope. I didn't buy any, but I like the powder bronzers, so. I think that was it. I think that was everything I wanted to talk about. Like I said, if there's anything I missed, please don't yell at me. I can only keep track of so many things. And like I said, there were some things that I left out, but these were just like a good overview. Thanks for watching, everyone. Today's song of the day is Lights Out by Deep Sea Diver. And I was just going into some music. I think this record actually might have come out in 2020, either that or 2019. But it's a really great album. It's so good. There's some great collaborations on that record. She does a great song with Sharon Van Etten, which I love. It's so good. But Lights Out, which was the first single off of that record, is my favorite off of it. And it's really good. And you should go listen to it. It's definitely great. It's this like kind of dancey, fun indie rock thing. If you like Spoon, I think you'll like this a lot. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you have a good rest of your week. It is Monday. Happy Monday. It's a Monday. Gotta do it one more time. Anyway, if you would like to follow me elsewhere, I have Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Twitter and Instagram are both Abers07, and then Twitch is Abers without the 07. And subscribe to this channel if you want to keep up with more of my videos. I upload Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, at least for this month. And you can get notified when I upload my videos. Sometimes I do like a live premiere, like last Friday when I uploaded my anti-haul that I totally forgot what time I was setting it to premiere, so I wasn't even there in the chat with the rest of you guys, so apologies. Most of the time I don't do that though. Yeah, so subscribe if you want to see more of me, and like this video if you liked it. That would be great. If you want to see more Makeup Archives videos, let me know kind of maybe what decade you might want me to start on for my next kind of series of this. If you want me to start in like the 80s or in the 90s or even like further back in like the 50s, let me know. I want to talk about things that you guys want to talk about, and I think all of it is interesting to me. For sure. Makeup Historian. That's a fun title. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good rest of your week, and I will see you all on Wednesday. Bye!